Yes. Hello, Jaquita. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Thank you
I'm
for
doing good. I'm a little tired because I was at the polls all day and they
this.
cold and
Yes,
extra hot with it.
we understand it. We thank you. We know that this is for the City Council District 7, and we have there's Ben Stewart is the candidate, and you will be a write-in candidate,
That
perhaps,
is
is what I
correct.
understand.
Yes.
So we welcome the opportunity for any candidate that has a voice and that wants to have a conversation with the community. This is your opportunity. So we thank you for taking time out to speak with us
Thank you for having me.
tonight.
I appreciate it.
So we're going to do the same. Well, our conversation, I guess, since it's just you and I,
Mhm.
we're going to have a conversation. How about that? And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
and our conversation is going to extend from some of the questions that are in Slido, but
Okay.
we'll just kind of do back and forth. So some things that I hear you say, I might follow up with a question.
That's
So
fine.
the way we'll start is by asking you to just take 3 minutes to introduce yourself and why you're running.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Jaquita Wilson Kirby. I'm running for City Council Place 7. One of the reasons that I'm running is because I came very close to winning this seat the last time. I lost by only 12 votes. The incumbent is not running again. And all of the things that mattered to me 3 years ago still matter to me. I still feel like we need to expand the type of internet access we have in Georgetown. Even though we're getting the fiber optic cables, where they go first is very important. Who gets access, it's going to be very important. And who pushes for the people that nobody pushes for. I want that to be me. Secondarily, I'm sorry, Regina, were you about to?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay. Secondarily, I feel like transportation has been lacking in this community for a long time. We had a bus system. We could have expanded the bus system. We did not do that. And we're leaving out a lot of people, which includes children who need to get to schools. But that's a secondary topic. Thirdly, I feel like our water treatment plant, I've been bringing this up for 3 years. We have had bonds issued to update that treatment plant that we have not used. We are currently paying interest rates on those bonds because we have not used that. And last night shows that what I've been bringing up for the last 3 years has come to fruition. We're dealing with a water crisis where we had something blow up at the water plant and we needed to fix it right at the same time that we were having a ton of rain. Both things together created a problem that had us having to not use water, not give baths to kids late at night, find out some people got the message, some people didn't. It's all unacceptable. I'd like to be the candidate that is asking the questions that need to be asked so that we don't deal with the hard problems and the back end. We can get them done at the front end. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what we'll do is start in one of our questions. Uh, Recent polls show that 68% of Texans think that government should be more involved in providing affordable workforce housing. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yes. um, I think we're really in crisis here in Georgetown, and we have been for a while. Um, the fact that most of the people who create services or who participate in services for this city do not live in this city has been shown to be problematic for a long time, but especially when the winter storm happened. And everybody who is a fireman, a police officer, not everybody, some, but the majority of our nurses and the people who take care of us cannot afford to live in our city. We keep thinking we're bringing affordable housing initiatives, but none of it is affordable. I think no one on the city council knows what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, to understand what it's like to be a single mom with a family, to understand what it's like to have 2 and 3 jobs and still can't manage rent. I'm one of those candidates that knows all three and knows that you have to work really hard to live in this city and have your kids be able to go to school. I think that we should be prioritizing affordable housing that is comparable to what people would find based on what they can afford, not based on what the city thinks they should be able to afford. Because that thinking has not gotten us anywhere. It's just push people out, and it's going to continue to push people out. And then where are we going to be next year's winter storm? We need people with services who already know how to do this work, that live in this town, that stay here to protect our city and not go to protect Round Rock and Pflugerville and Liberty Hill. I want them cities protected, but they have to build they have the affordable housing for the people that we need to support us here. So I feel like we need more, and a lot more than what we have now.
Okay, and as a part of Georgetown Housing Initiative, we talked to the community and even the business sector about, you know, trying to maintain employees, but that continues to be an issue that's plaguing Georgetown. Employers in Georgetown having a continuous issues with labor shortages. What part does this high cost of rents contribute, do you think, to this? And what do you think can be done to help that crisis?
I really do think that not just bringing workforce housing to Georgetown and affordable housing to Georgetown, but understanding the parameters in which they show up. That's why I started off with talking about transportation, because the cost of housing is not just about having an affordable place to live. It's about how you get to work from that affordable place to live. It's about the infrastructure around it. It's about talking to the elected officials about how we frame these ideas and thoughts. Because right now, the current framing is, oh, if we do affordable housing, real affordable housing, that'll bring the thugs and that'll bring problems and danger to our city. And that's one, untrue. And two, we can systemically show, we can show through statistics and dynamics that having affordable housing and coupling that with transportation from the actual affordable housing to the service places, it will increase the labor that you will receive at those places. We can't just focus on affordable housing and not how people get to where they need to go. I would love to see a lot of affordable housing in this district, specifically mine, but I see that we have a lot of apartments being put up all over these back roads, and trying to get to HEB, trying to get to the square, trying to get downtown for a lot of those people is impossible. So we rely on rideshare, we rely on Ubers. That's taking more people's money. Everybody can't afford a car in this city. So I would like to see the programs juxtaposed together to say, okay, we're understanding that we're losing people. We don't have the workers that we need to maintain our city. So we're going to make sure not only that they have access to affordable housing, but that they can get from that affordable housing to the jobs that we're creating for them.
So what do you think, or what are your top 3 priorities that you think should be addressed by the city if you are elected?
Water is going to be first. Water and our issues with managing the water that we have. I really think that what we saw last night is the beginning of what will be a crisis if we don't address it ASAP. Secondary to that, I'm trying to think of things that they're not currently working on, because currently they are going to be dropping fiber optic cables. Affordable housing is going to be secondary to my issues with the water crisis and what I think they need to do right now. Third, as much as I want it to be transportation, is going to have to be our emergency plan, which is non-existent. I've looked at it. It's a big book full of, please go to the community center if anything happens. And as we saw with the winter storm, that was not possible. I think we need to have a comprehensive emergency plan. I believe climate change is real. I believe we're going to be affected by it. I believe the fact that we've seen so many tornadoes in the last few weeks is indicative of us needing to have a plan. So that's why that is going to be the third thing on my list outside of transportation. But if you gave me 4, I'd put transportation on there.
But that's, you can have 4.
Thank
So
you.
what do you think about gentrification and what is occurring with gentrification in the city, and how do you feel that it is being addressed
I don't think
within the
it's being
community?
addressed at all. And I think it's been brought to their attention many times. We've done plan after plan after plan to say that this is a problem and that we're pushing people out. We're pushing people out of TRG and selling homes there for astronomical prices, causing taxes to go up for everybody around that area. It is unfair. I'm not sure if we've been able to make a historical district out of the Ridge, and I'm not quite sure if that's the way to go to protect it, but I think we should at least be considering it. Some of those homes, some of those families have been there for 100 years. The church has been there over 100 years. We're not going to protect that as history, but we can protect downtown, we can protect Old Town. We're not protecting San Jose. At this point, I feel like if we don't do something in the next 2 years, maybe 5, it's going to become too expensive for the current residents of that area. It needs to be seen as an emergency, not as a buy story that we do every now and then.
And so how do you feel that the community, I'm not sure that the community, and especially in those communities, feel comfortable with coming to the city council. If they have an ear, what do you, how can we encourage the community to be more engaging with the council, to know that their needs or concerns or issues are being addressed? What approach would you take to ensure that the community feels like they can be engaged with you or the rest of the council?
I think we have a lot of trust that we have to build. And I'm just going to be honest. A lot of people don't trust and don't feel like the city council will listen to them if they come and address their concerns. Unless there's a lot of money behind you, a lot of times they're correct. What I would like to see happen, what I've mentioned in other forums, is that I would like to see us have a citywide app created for the city of Georgetown and its issues that goes directly to the city council and the city management staff, where people could anonymously say, hey, this light pole doesn't work. It hasn't been working. There's a crack here. Hey, you're taking up my space over here. The things that they need to fix and take care of, if people start seeing those things being fixed and taken care of, now they're going, okay, maybe I can come up there. Maybe I can have a larger conversation about things. Maybe I'm willing to join a committee and see if I can push from that. But if we don't do something more interactive than what we're doing now, so that people can start building trust with us, I don't see that changing anytime soon. When I go to city council, people think I'm brave. I'm like, I'm not brave. I'm going to go yell at these people that I elected. They're in service to me. I'm not in service to them. And I think more people need to absorb that. They work for us. They don't get to say no. They have to say, we'll figure this out. But there's no trust in that because we haven't established a consistent level of, we're going to address your particular needs, TRG, District 7, District 6, District 5. Like, there's a lot of districts that are not being held to the same standard that, I'm sorry, Sun City gets to have. Their issues get fixed like that. 5, 10 of them show up at the city council and things start moving. But with everybody else, it's like, we'll get to you. My district has not one park. Every other district has citywide parks, not mine. They're going to get to us though. There's a plan. Where's our representation that I've been asking for years? I want to see trust. An app might do that.
So what strategies do you think you can take to work with the other council members so that they can hear what you're saying and engage with the community and see those differences that you're talking about?
I think it's very interesting because since I started running in 2016, 2017, everything that I have asked them to address as a candidate, they have addressed.
Oh, great.
Everything except for this water treatment issue. It's the lad, but I know now after yesterday, I'm gonna see them working on that too. I have not had one issue that wasn't one of my major platforms that didn't get addressed at the city. So I feel like I'm going to continue in the vein of being very clear and concise, showing up with all the education and the data and saying, this is what this is. And just being a representative of people who don't get to sit in that spot and be at that table and say, our culture, the way we live, the way we show up matters too. And you should be hearing us when we say, hey, that's not affordable. Hey, we can't get to HEB. Hey, I'd like my house to stay, how I moved into it without you taking more space and land from me. And these are the reasons why. But if there's nobody in the room that can historically say these things are real, affordable housing is a real need, and this is why, we're going to keep getting the same result. It's one thing to say you hear somebody, and it's another thing to have somebody that understands, be able to break it down to you in a way where it can be more clear. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
So we know, as I mentioned at the top of our conversation, that you will be a write-in candidate, which is a hard thing. So what is your strategy for winning this election?
Well, luckily for me, I've been a campaign manager 18 times now. So my strategy started off with a comprehensive 8 hits. I already knew to even come close to the numbers that I produced the last time, I was going to need to hit people 8 times with my literature, with my language, with my name recognition. Being a write-in candidate, now I have to add more because people are going to have to be able to say my name. So besides people getting postcards, people getting mailers from me, people getting newspapers with the ads that I have, people getting text messages from me, they're going to get phone calls from me. I am at the polls every day. I got my tent, I have my name cards, I am handing them out, and I'm saying, hey, vote for me. This is how you spell my name. This is how you do a write-in candidacy. If they're saying in the election office, oh, we don't have a write-in candidate, which they said to my face on Monday when I went to go vote, I'm like, yes, you do. And I'm that candidate. And this is what that looks like. So, and I sent my staff to educate all of the local polling stations on what a write-in candidate looks like, what the legal terminology is for that, and how I am represented in that ballot. I have to keep with the information coming and making sure that people see my signs everywhere. I have yard signs and I have the big road signs. So I'm getting my 8 to 10 hits in. I'm just continuing with the name recognition that I built up when I ran 3 years ago for this seat. And I feel really good about my chances in this race.
Perfect. That sounds great. I really, I hear your voice is strong.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm not playing with it.
and your voice is passionate, and you are informative. I hear these things, and so I appreciate you again. You taking the time, and I just want to give you 3 minutes to talk about, what is it that you really want to see happening as I'm on the other one, board member, but on the council.
Yeah.
What do you really? I know you talked about the water and all of the different issues, and we all have things that we want done, and there's going to be times, where there's going to be frustrations because there's going to be other council members that are not going to want to listen or want to, so how are you going to do, what are you going to do to not get frustrated, to not give up the fight, to ensure that you do some of the things that you're talking about doing, and know that and engage your community to help you get those things done?
I think what has helped me so far is I became an equity facilitator, after joining Courageous Conversations. Courageous Conversations started my thirst for understanding what racial, equity looks like outside of equality. And in doing that, I got certified to become a facilitator. And when I became a facilitator, I get paid to talk to organizations and companies and nonprofits about equity and equality and convince them. They pay me to convince them that equity and equality is what they need to move forward for their own companies. And if I can get companies, including GISD, including Austin ISD, including Round Rock ISD, including the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, to have me teach them how to move in equity when they don't have any idea what that looks like. I believe I can use those same skills in the city council. When I went to talk to the city council about removing those bricks with these slave owner names and Confederate names on the bricks, because I'm saying to them, listen, outside of this just being unequitable, you are now pushing away commercial people to spend their money downtown with you. You are pushing away, and it's not just Black people, it's not just Latinx folks. There are white people that are saying they're not comfortable with that. And I'm letting you know it, so you can't say you don't know when the revenue starts going down. Them saying to me, being the whole board of people that don't agree with me politically, okay, Jaquita, I hear you. Okay, we're gonna remove the bricks. Okay, you and the people who came up have made a convincing argument. We may not believe in it the way you believe in it, but your argument is sound. That was what, a month ago? These are the people that I'm going to be working with. These are the people that I'm going to be negotiating with. I'm negotiating with them successfully now. I believe I'll be able to negotiate with them successfully in the future. Am I going to get everything I want? No. But am I going to try my hardest to get everything for the people in this city that people forget? Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Perfect. That's great. So I just, we're about winding up this conversation, and just any final thoughts before we wind down that you'd like to leave with the community?
I miss y'all. It's been a long 2 years of pandemic, and I miss the people of Georgetown that I started loving this city with. And that was the GCCMA crew and GTX crew and the Housing Initiative crew. These are all the people that I started this journey with. I appreciate that we're all still fighting. I know how hard it is. So thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all, and I hope you have a good night. Oh, my website.
Yes. And just as I asked the other candidates, if you can put your information in the chat so that the community can get in contact with you. Again, we thank you so much, Jaquita, for taking the time to have a conversation with us. We wish you luck. Again, we hear the passion in your voice, and we know that I hear you. And just the best of luck to you. And just, what we want most and foremost is that this city is representing their community.
Yeah.
So thank you again. And I just want to, we have 5 minutes, and I want to just thank the community for coming out and listening and being a part. Again, this recording is going to be posted on the GCCMA, the GTX Connect, and the Georgetown Housing Initiative website. Because I can't type and talk at the same time, I would put their websites on the chat. So Dr. Swain, if you could put GCCMA's website on the chat. Chuck, if you could put GTX Connect's website on the chat. And I'll just let you know that if you want to get in contact with Georgetown Housing Initiative, just on Google, Georgetown Housing Initiative, and our website will come up as well. Community, thank you for participating and taking the time out. Thank you for putting your questions in Slido. Just quick reminders, early voting has already started and it will go through April 28th. Actually, Election Day is May 3rd. Vote, vote, vote. CMA and GTX has a public information video that is posted on our website, so we'll be posted on our website that gives you information about how to vote. You can go to www.wilco.org/Wilco votes to get information about voting. Again, go to our websites to get information. And again, we thank you for your participation. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for hanging out for 2 hours. We really appreciate you. Remember to take your ID, take your patience, but don't give up. Go to the polls. It's your right, it's your duty, it's your responsibility. So thank you all, and I want you to all have a wonderful